This series is all about weekend wellness. Long walks are a great way to clear my mind. But of course, I never forget about the food. So in this series, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to prepare brilliant meals before you go out and some snacks to take with you on your trips. I find that Indian food is fantastic for cooking at home because pre-cooking or cooking in advance allows the curries time to really develop their flavour. And that's why, you know, when it's on a weekend and I want to slow cook something, I'll cook something like this. I'm going to cook a butter chicken without the butter to make it that much healthier. I'm going to replace the butter with some almond butter and some avocado oil. And then a sambharo on the side, which is kind of like an Indian coleslaw. We've got some cauliflower pickle to go with it, which I've already made. Now with the chicken, usually there's loads of either ghee or butter, but I've got almond butter here to replace that and give that sort of buttery texture and flavour. This is all for the marinade for the chicken here. We've got some yogurt, I've got a mixture of spices here, some garam masala, some turmeric, some cumin, and some Kashmiri chili. Ginger, finely chopped. I've got some garlic to chop up. And this is all for the chicken marinade. So there's enough garlic and ginger there for both the marinade and cooking the sauce. I've got some corn-fed chicken here. I'm gonna de-skin this. I'm using chicken breast to keep it nice and lean. I want nice sort of squares. Don't want the chicken too thin. So my chicken's cut up. Start to marinate a couple of cloves of garlic and some ginger. Then I've got my almond butter, which I'm actually going to put into the chicken along with all those spices and the yogurt. Pinch of salt. That's sea salt there. And then just give that a good massage round. Now the idea of your butter chicken, which is invented in northern India, so it's really creamy and buttery and, you know, it has lots of flavour. It's quite a rich dish. So I don't want to lose that richness even though I'm going for that healthier option. This marinade will really help with that. You're going to sit that in the marinade, cover it, put it in the fridge for at least an hour, if not overnight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fry my onions, and I want them to go on a nice sort of medium heat, not too high. Take your time with cooking your curries. You know, you want your onions to sweat and you want them almost, the curry sauce to almost stick a little before we start stirring it. I've got my almond butter for that creaminess in the actual chicken marinade, and I've got my avocado oil, which has a much higher smoking point and is unsaturated fat, so much better for you. Once that's nice and hot, your onions go in. You want your onions to soften over sort of 5 to 10 minutes, so on a low to medium heat before you add anything else. Next up, ginger and garlic. Now, you could also start this whole curry off with some of the more whole spices like clove and some cardamom seeds if you wanted that sort of extra sweetness. But I've gone for a nice simple recipe here. So my garlic and ginger have had a couple of minutes to cook through, and then I've got my spices. Mix that through into the onions so that they temper nicely too, but don't burn. All the while, I'm keeping it on a low to medium heat. Next up, some tomato puree and my chopped tomatoes. At this point, you're going to bring your tomatoes to boil, but also, this is when I like to add a bit of sea salt to bring the sweetness out of the tomatoes. So now it's time to let your tomatoes stew. You want the tomatoes and the onions to kind of catch a little on the bottom of the pan, just so that I can lift as much flavour into the curry as possible. The last thing I've swapped out is your single cream with evaporated milk. Again, much lighter, but still has that creaminess. Now that's already got a great colour. Bring that to a boil and then just let that simmer on a medium to low heat for about 10 to 15 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to get my chicken onto sear. A little bit more avocado oil. I'm going to get a lot more creaminess and butteriness from the marinade of the chicken. I've got quite a lot of chicken here, so I'm going to fry this in 2 batches. The chicken's frying. Good time to taste your sauce. Tastes great already. That's ready to blitz. So I'm going to blitz that in the same pot, and then we're going to add the chicken to it once it's all cooked up. So I've got a whole load of flavour in the pan. And I'm going to use some hot water to bring that off the bottom of the pan. That is absolutely not going to do anything but good to the curry. Then continue to blitz up the sauce. So at this point, the chicken's going to go in, but I'm only going to cook it and bring it to a boil for about 5 minutes, because don't forget, I'm going for my walk. And later on, I can just warm it up and it won't take long at all. Cover it with a lid, leave it for 5 minutes. Whilst the chicken's cooking, I'm going to cook my veggie side dish. Actually, this comes from my in-laws' side, who come from Gujarat originally. Very, very simple, almost Indian coleslaw. Mustard seeds with some avocado oil. You're going to let those temper and sit, so I'm going to cover that with a lid. Keep it on a medium heat. Your mustard seeds will start popping. Once they stop popping, then we can add the rest of the ingredients. Ready to get everything else in. The turmeric goes in, and then your veg straight over the top. I've actually got some fresh curry leaves as well, which I'm going to pop into the pan just on the side here now. I don't want them to burn, but I want them to add flavour. Pinch of sea salt. And the idea of this is similar to a stir fry really, high heat. Very simple flavours, nothing too powerful. You can put a bit of green chilli if you wanted to as well, but if you were to do that, keep them whole, just slice into them slightly. Just make sure that your veg are nice and crisp, and that's done. Don't overcook it, keep it crunchy. Last thing, my chicken curry before my walk, is just this here, which is fenugreek leaf or kasuri methi. Give that a stir through. That chicken curry looks so buttery with no butter in it. So that's all been pre-cooked, pre-prepared. All I have to do is heat it up later on. I'm off for my walk, back in a few hours. So my curry has been sitting whilst I've been out, and I've just put it on for another 5 minutes on the boil. Really, really quick and easy. All the flavour has sort of infused over those few hours. That phrase of a curry the next day is always better. You can just serve that up. Some coriander over the top. Sambharo, I've decided to warm up as well, but you could just have it cool on the side. And my cauliflower pickle to go with the 2 dishes, which you can find a recipe for on AIA's website. I've also got some healthier grains here, some pearl barley, which I cooked earlier, just with a bit of coriander, some lemon juice, and my full-on homemade Indian meal is ready to tuck in. In fact, it only took me about an hour or so to cook up this great family feast. And it's a really hearty meal, but not full of fat. And when coming back from doing a bit of exercise, it can feel really fulfilling. Home cooking like this can definitely help you achieve a healthier, longer, better life.